Ring up Graeme Kenna.
This is the voicemail of Graeme Kenna from the Legal Department for Adult Services in Bradford Council. Please leave a message and I will get back to you.
After you've finished your message, just hang up, or to hear more options, please press 1.
Yes, hello, Mr. Kenna. It's Mr. Hussain here, once again, leaving yourself another daily message like a broken record. Today is Saturday, the 19th of October, 2024. And as you know, I've been leaving you daily messages since the 10th of October, 2023 regarding the unlawful kidnap and abduction and false imprisonment and incarceration of my brother since the 8th of August 2023. Every single day with persistency, except for a short period of time, I left you daily messages asking you to engage with me before you end up murdering my brother off like you've murdered my father and my mother and my older brother off previously a decade ago, and my mother recently in 2022. I'm leaving you daily messages as to a public local authority. You are a local authority, a public local authority funded by the public purse, yet you're refusing to respond to me or explain to me exactly what legal framework you've used to take my brother. This is completely, truly reprehensible and deplorable and diabolically fiendish and villainous and evil of you, what you're doing to my brother. My brother does not deserve this. He's given the authorities for me to act on his behalf, and simply because it doesn't sit well with you because of my higher cost charging policy, you've kidnapped my brother, degraded and humiliated us and torturing us. How are you any different from the Israelis that are torturing the Palestinians? How dare you, Bradford Council, ever go against the official narrative and promote the Palestinians when you are acting no differently to the Israelis that are torturing and murdering and committing genocide against the Palestinians? This is exactly what you are doing to me and my family as an Orwellian local authority. Want to be in control and power and dominate us, and yet refusing to provide us with the basics of information, isolating us, and you should be ashamed of yourself, Mr. Browell, Mr. Kenna. Sorry, Mr. Browell, and Mr. Kenna, and all these people you should be really ashamed of yourself. White people torturing colored people as always, and then you'll say no, but we were only following orders. We were following orders, and I've told you the Nuremberg defense is no defense in law. You cannot simply state that we were following orders. You, Mr. Kenna, personally, not anybody else, you personally are fully held accountable and liable for my mother's murder because you were involved in this. Your predecessor, I think Mon or something, she left. She knew that this was she didn't want to get involved in this. She didn't want to be involved in genocide and murder or sinecide. This is what you've committed, sinecide. And so she was clever enough to withdraw from the case, but you were not. You've been fully involved throughout this whole process, and your attitude is, it's not my fault. It's of course your fault. You are fully accountable. You know what's happening, and you're allowing this to happen. You know my brother's being tortured. You are the ones that have instructed the West Yorkshire Police to put me on a bail. You are the ones that have come down to collect my brother and collect me and or falsely arrest me. And now the situation is one where you're hoping and praying that I will go mad or insane or something detrimental will happen to my health and well-being. And if it doesn't happen, no doubt you're going to precipitate this so that you can get away with murder. You ain't going to get away with murder, Mr. Browell, because as you know, I'm recording and publicizing all my records for my own personal health and safety. Privacy be damned. Oh, Mr. Hussain, you're violating our privacy. What about my privacy? What about my brother's privacy? What about my brother's human rights? What about our dignity and respect? You don't care about those. It's all about protecting yourself whilst milking the gravy train to get money from the public purse, saying that you're doing your job to safeguard the people that you have a duty of care to, but when in reality what you're doing is torturing and murdering people, holding people hostage and doing abuses of power. And this is just not an isolated incident with myself, is it? It's an ongoing facade, and that's happening up and down the country by all the local authorities, and yet all the local authorities now are on the verge of bankruptcy. I wonder if there's any correlation between the fact that you, the local authority, and up and down the country, local authorities are going bankrupt, and the fact that you've been kidnapping children and abusing them. I wonder if there's a correlation between the two. I wonder if there's a correlation between you killing, murdering children and kidnapping them from their parents, and now you're on the verge of bankruptcy. I'm just reading this newspaper article which was published on the 17th of October 2024, which was, I believe, a couple of days ago on Thursday. It says, West Yorkshire pensions debate in chaos as protesters chant, how many kids have you killed? So this is an interesting one. Police were called to clear the chamber. I'm just going to read this out to you, Mr. Kenna. Police were called to Bradford Council's meeting after protesters interrupted with chants of how many kids have you killed during a discussion over pensions. So you want to get your pensions, do you, while killing children? West Yorkshire Police eventually had to escort the protesters from the chamber when they disrupted the full council meeting on Tuesday, October the 15th. It came after independent councillor David Ward introduced a motion calling for the West Yorkshire Pension Fund to reveal if any companies they invested in were complicit in genocide being committed in Gaza. So this is interesting, isn't it? The pension scheme is serving more than 300,000 members from the Leeds, Bradford, Kirkley, Calderdale, Kirklees and Wakefield allocated funds across a range of companies for retirement benefit. Managed by Bradford Council, the fund was the focus of Councillor Ward's plea for the council to leverage its influence to redirect investment away from firms with Israel ties. Is this the same David Ward that had me set up? But before the motion was even discussed, the meeting had to be paused as supporters interrupted proceedings while council leaders were questioned about residential parking permits, unfurling banners, including one starkly read, reading, "Prophets covered in Palestine blood." Protesters then began shouting phrases like, "How do you sleep at night?" and "How many kids have you killed today?" The meeting was paused as police and security officers tried to calm the scene. The protesters were eventually escorted out of the public gallery. Councillor Ward said this motion is only asking us to ensure West Yorkshire Pension Fund complies with our country's foreign affairs policy. Anyone who fails to do whatever they can to stop the Israeli aggression is complicit. Anyone who votes against our motion is helping Israel breach humanitarian law. It is against the law for you to vote against our motion tonight. When it is right to do something, it is wrong to do not to do it.
If you wish to record further, please choose the append option from the menu. If you've finished recording, just hang up. If you don't carry on recording or hang up, your message will be deleted. To listen to your message, press 1. Please record the rest of your message after the tone. When you've finished recording, press the hash key.
Okay, Mr. Kenna, time is once again getting the better of me. I'm just going to quickly finish reading this off, and then when it is right to do so, something is wrong not to do. So it is wrong not to do it. But councils hit back at the substance and timing of his motion. Councillor Rebecca Paulson, leader of the Conservatives, said, bringing this motion when we just had the anniversary of the appalling attack shows how blinkered and unfit to be a public servant you are. So your supporters earlier tonight led to the chamber being cleared. So, it just goes on. The member of the pension fund have the right to have their pensions be well managed. Also, you want to manage your pensions while you've stolen my pension pot and my family pot. How completely ridiculous. I have spoken to council leaders across the country and they ask why Bradford Council spends so much debating the Middle East when they have so many of their own issues.
Message, press 1. To re-record your message, press 2. If you are happy with your message, press 4. Message sent. Goodbye.
Okay, so I just want to quickly finish reading this off because they've got the gist of what I'm saying. I just want to finish reading this article off, and then we're going to end this recording. I don't care if it goes a little bit further. I've spoken to the council leaders across the country, and they ask why Bradford Council spends so much time debating the Middle East when they have so many of their own issues. Councillor Andrew Thornton, Labroids, described the motion as an attempt to institute sanctions on a local level. He noted that council did not influence the investment made by the fund, stating, Whilst Bradford administers the fund, we are not in control of the investment. The council cannot decide where investment goes. It operates in a quasi-trustee role. It is not part of local government. Okay. Council leader Susan Hinckley clarified that the council was explicitly prevented from directing the fund's investments, adding, "We mustn't mislead people that any councillor in this chamber can counter that. We mustn't mislead people that any councillor in this chamber can counter that." But Councillor Ward was dissatisfied with the response. He said, "It seems to me that the Tory line is that we shouldn't do this, while the Labour line is we can't do this." Okay, so that's the article that I've read out, which is the council's own. So they've got a pension fund that they're all going to retire on, and yet they've stolen my brother's pension fund, which is me. I've stolen my mother's pension fund, which is me, and stolen all my money, which is my own pension fund. What's going to happen to me when I get old? I've got no money, have I?